Hello everybody. Tonight is Friday the 17th. Been doing one of these for a while. I did a little social experiment over the last probably 6-7 years, and I wanted to share my findings. Didn't cost taxpayers anything, but I'll probably split this up into like 2 videos so I can basically do my social experiment, get my findings that way, because it might be rather lengthy otherwise, and it's not going to be very pretty. Going to be a lot of I don't know, stuff about basically the far right and the far left, and how extreme both cases are. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? This is going to be a lot of fun for me, but it may not be fun for everybody. Got me in the mood. Well, social experiment I did on my own, no backing from anybody. Nobody told me to do it or how to do it or anything else. I basically went ahead and did the experiment so I could see how extreme some people really are. And it's really gotten under my skin. I'm going to start with the first one I did, which was the far right, and how I basically set myself up to be one of them. And I found out there's a lot of people, you know, on Twitter or anywhere else that are extreme one way or the other. They're all over the place. The people like, you know, the Rick Santorum types, the Ted Cruz types, those people are just hardcore extremists one way or the other. They don't want anybody to have any rights or freedom except for what they have, what they want. So, what can I say about that? Let's start with the abortion issue. You know, I've always been one of these guys that says it's a woman's choice to have the abortion. And I think sometimes it's actually necessary. If it's going to cause problems with the mother, she has a chance of dying in childbirth or whatever. I also think that it's none of my business if it's somebody that's not directly involved with me. It's not my business. So that's why I'm one of these people who say, you know, look, you do what you want to do in your life. Leave me out of it. That's fine. But there's a lot of these people that want to ban all abortions. And I think that's a losing issue. There's a lot of extremists who don't. And these are religious extremists. Well, they fail to realize that their Bible actually talks about abortion as though it's a good thing in a way. When you have, there's a passage in there, it's in the Old Testament, things like Deuteronomy, Leviticus, something like that, where it talks about how God went through Samaria, which is like modern day Israel, Palestine area, stuff like that, and yanked the womb, or, well, the fetus out of the wombs of the women. That's basically an abortion. And that's very much, I don't know. If they believe in God, they are basically, I don't know, I guess they should condone abortion in a way. How about the other one where it says if your wife cheats on you or suspected cheating on you, you should make her drink bitter water, which is like a poison in a way to abort the baby. Their theory is if she drinks the water, she has a miscarriage, then she cheated on you and the baby was not yours. And if she doesn't, she carries it to term, then the baby's yours, you have nothing to worry about. There's a lot of passages in there where women are basically treated, you know, like crap. And that's what got me to thinking I had to find out what these people really like. And I went ahead and became one of them temporarily. It was not pretty. I made a lot of enemies. And I wonder why people can't just leave each other the hell alone. Now, there's also the whole marriage equality issue and same-sex marriage and all that. People think that it's, I don't know. I'm kind of right in the middle of it. I don't care because I don't have a dog in this hunt, so to speak. I don't care one way or the other because, to be honest with you, marriage has been around a lot longer than Christianity. Christianity's been around about 2,000 years, give or take. The pagans were getting married about 10,000 years before that. So, you know, people be getting married a long time. And personally, I don't think marriage is even something the state should be involved with anyhow. It should be something that you do on your own with the other person, not the state. I don't need the state justifying or validating my love for someone. That's just how I am. And I don't know. I don't see where it's a big deal because, first of all, I don't care. It has nothing to do with me. It doesn't affect me. That's all I'm saying about that. So, there's that for that whole thing. Basically, if you want to do it, that's your life, not mine. Nobody can force you to do it. What I have an issue with is whenever these people, these extremists sit there and say, well, they're going to make pastors stop preaching. They're going to yank pastors out of the pulpit. They're going to take away the church. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they can do that, period. They're going to say, well, the bakers and I have to bake a cake for the gay and lesbian couples. Well, whatever happened to private business? Which brings me to the atheist liberals. These people are the worst of the worst. I can't stand these idiots. Here's why. They sit here and say, well, you gotta, be this way. You gotta you're a for-profit business, you have to, shall we say, I don't know, what's their thing? Obey anti-discrimination laws. Alright? So, let me get this straight. If a baker says it's against their religion, and if it's a Christian baker, then they have to bake the cake for the gay and lesbian couple? Why? You can go to any other baker, some baker to do it. Hell, go to Walmart. They'll make you anything. Except for a Confederate flag, of course. They'll make you a fucking ISIS flag. They don't give a shit. Hell, happy birthday, we love ISIS sort of shit. That's the kind of cake they'll fucking make. But they won't make this. They won't make the Confederate flag. Why? It's offensive. Really. So you're going to discriminate against me, but yet the Christian baker or whatever can't say no to a gay and lesbian couple? That doesn't hold with our values. Please go somewhere else. What happened to we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone at any time for any reason? Oh, I guess that goes out the window with liberals. And then, of course, you have these liberals that go, well, we're all for equality for the black man. Okay, great. So am I. I'm equality for everybody. But they sit there and say the country is racist. That America is racist. Well, how the hell is that? Not racist. It's not. What, we have a black guy in office that's president? We have black senators and congressmen? We have black actors on TV? We have black famous people all over the place? And Hispanic and everything else? Yet, we're racist? No. You liberals have white guilt, and you're racist. Especially these dumbass atheists. You see, I went undercover as an atheist too, and I had to learn about their ways. Does that mean I believe in God? No, it doesn't mean I believe in God. I don't believe in a deity. I don't believe in some invisible sky man. But I'm not an atheist either. I just simply don't believe in God. Well, that makes you an atheist. Actually, no. My actual religion, if you want to really get technical to it, is a philosophy. Yes, I know you're going to laugh, but it's a philosophy done, basically created by George Lucas, Star Wars, Jedi. This philosophy, basically, live and let live, try to work for peace, and love one another. And if you have to fight, do it in a case of defense only. Not attacking someone. Whether you really like it or not, when you get down to it, you want to believe it or not, atheism is a religion in many ways. Because what is a religion? It doesn't mean belief in a deity. It means this. Something you hold sacred and dear to you. That's a religion. Well, atheists hold atheism sacred and dear to them. I know. I've been around enough of them. These people think they're right 100%, just like Islam thinks they're right, Christianity thinks they're right, and every other religion thinks they're right. However, you have these people that are so hell-bent on attacking people of faith to further their cause, their faith, their atheism. I'll probably make a lot of enemies doing this video too, but I don't care. The thing is, these people also want to tell you, the very same idiots, liberal atheists, want to tell you that the black man is being systematically murdered by whites. Well, what about black on black crime? And you know what? The brothers are even saying this. A lot of the conservative black people are actually saying, why are we blaming the white man when we're killing each other? Just as we are killing each other. Whites are killing each other. I'm appalled by white on white crime. I'm appalled by black on white crime. I'm appalled by black on black crime. I'm appalled by all crime and violence. I hate violence. Violence is an act of weak-minded people to do something and hurt someone because they can't be rational and think straight, and they can't come to a conclusion and talk out their problems. So they have to use violence. So we're caught in the middle. You know, the cops aren't systematically killing blacks. The whites aren't systematically killing blacks. And you know what? For people to sit there and say that blacks are committing a lot of the crimes, it's true. Look at the numbers. Now, numbers don't lie. Well, they're the ones attacked more. They're the ones thrown in prison more. No. Some cases that's true where they're, arrested spot on. Very few times. What about when they get away with it? When the gang members get away scot-free, and you might have 300 witnesses, nobody saw nothing. Crickets. But no, instead they wait until some white nut job does something, and they blame all the white people for it. And these atheists are the same damn way. I am sick of these atheist idiots in America telling me that everybody's racist. And you know something? They're even saying that about my flag. They say that constantly by this flag here. It's not racist. It's a symbol of heritage. Southern pride. Oh, but you're not Southern. You were born a Yankee. So what? I moved to the South when I was a young man, about a teenager. Been living there ever since. I love it. But for these New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and the like, atheist libtards, they don't understand what the flag actually means. It's bad when a black man has to give you a lesson on what the flag means, what the Civil War is actually about. Everyone's the whole slavery. No. Lincoln brought slavery into it about 3/4 of the way through the war when he was losing support for the war. He goes, well, hell, I got to do something to gain support back for the war, so I'll concoct slavery. Did you know that the South was the first ones to allow black soldiers to fight for them as freedmen? That's not something talked about by the liberals. No. No. Because that goes against their agenda. You know, I was born a Yankee. I was born in Pennsylvania. But I've been living in North Carolina for almost 25 years now. And even back then when I was living in Pennsylvania, I knew that it was a bunch of liberal lies that they were talking about slavery. Because I did my own research and I checked my own stuff out. I checked out books. You have to dig for this stuff and find it. Because a lot of the textbooks are not going to tell you, or they'll just touch on it lightly and move on. The South actually had black soldiers as their soldiers, and they weren't slaves, they were freed men, wearing the same uniform as a white man did. Yes, they were segregated, but so was the North. They weren't integrated, they were segregated. The black soldiers, the black battalions, wore red scarves, red bandanas around their necks, you know, to signify they were freed men. And yes, I read this stuff online and books and everything else. That was to show they were soldiers for the Confederacy and they were freedmen. So basically, when the war was over, they would turn their weapons, walk away as a freed man. Slavery was already on its way out in the South anyhow. The South in the 1850s wanted to outlaw slavery, and the North said, no, we can't do that. Because they didn't want the South to get more representation. At that time, it was blacks were one third of a person. Took 3 people to make up one person. They weren't allowed to vote, but the South wanted to free them and say, okay, they're human beings like us. The Northern Republican liberals at the time said, no, we can't do that. Then comes Mr. Lincoln, and they go, well, we'll go ahead and try to pass this now. The South said, we just tried to do that. They said, no, you didn't. Screw you. Then they started taxing the South. They started raiding the South monetarily, raping them financially, and stealing their resources. And the South said, look, no more. We're not going to let you keep doing this. We quit. We're done. That's not treason. That's the same damn thing that America fought against the British for in the 1770s for supposed independence. And what did the Union become? The Union became Great Britain 2. Great Britain number 2 was the Union. The Confederacy was the colonials number 2, basically. In the Constitution, it was even set forth in states' rights, Amendment 10, that any state has a right to secede from the Union anytime it wants to, for any reason, if things are not going right. Say, for example, for tyranny. They feel that the Union has become a tyrannical state, a tyrannical dictatorship, like South Carolina and the rest of the South and the Confederacy did back then. So, at that time, the states are obligated to secede from the Union. Then, of course, Lincoln didn't like that. He says, well, I'm not going to let this republic be torn apart. Constitutionally, he didn't have authority to do anything. But he went against the Constitution and tried to force the South into doing, basically coming back. They said no, and that's when all hell broke loose. Now, I bring it up about the Confederate flag because a lot of the liberals like to say, well, the flag's racist. It means slavery. It means about as much slavery as this flag here. Yeah. It doesn't mean slavery. Bottom line, it does not mean slavery. If the Confederate flag means slavery, so does every other flag in the world. But a lot of people don't realize that Obama is trying to deflect. Here's the problem with that. He wants to outlaw and ban the Confederate flag. Why? So he can get the Trans-Pacific Partnership passed. The TPP is a piece of legislation that will destroy jobs in the Western Hemisphere. Not going to be pretty, folks. And the thing is, he's stripped. He had his people strip language out of the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, that would outlaw slave labor in Malaysia. And he just swept it under the rug. So yet Obama is supposedly against slavery with the Confederates, but he's for slavery for Malaysia. Yeah. Double standard. Try to figure that shit out. Guess what? He's a liar. He's a double standard jackass. Most people won't even admit that. But I do admit it. I tell it like it is. So, with all that going on, now they wind up taking the flag out of Walmart, Sears, eBay, Amazon. Hell, you can't even find them damn truck stops anymore, where a lot of the truck drivers are, for lack of better words, hillbilly rednecks. Southerners and stuff. Mountain people. Backwoods type people. And they want to take the flag out of the NASCAR. Well, guess what? Most of your audience in NASCAR is Confederate people. Hillbilly rednecks. So NASCAR, you're discriminating against your own people. The people who created NASCAR in the first place were moonshiners. Hillbilly rednecks from the South. So what's that going to do whenever you ban the Confederate flag at NASCAR events? You just alienated your entire base of fans. You're going to go under. You're going to go out of business. Maybe you should think about moving your operations out of the South then and going somewhere else. Like to New York City or something. Is that what you want, NASCAR? Sayonara. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Get out. We don't want you here then. Like we don't want Walmart and everybody else here then. But my problem with that is this. If the liberals holler about, well, a Christian bakery has to bake a gay wedding cake because of anti-discrimination laws, then guess what? Walmart should have to carry the Confederate flag and bake a Confederate flag cake. If they're going to do it for ISIS, then guess what? They need to do it for the Confederate flag. Because anti-discrimination laws, don't you know? Yeah. Maybe I should sue Walmart and Sears, Kmart, eBay, Amazon, all the rest of them for taking out the Confederate flag. What do you think? Should I do that? I think I should. Because what's going to happen is they're going to wind up going, wait a minute. We're discriminating against certain people. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I'm white. So if I make the lawsuit, it ain't going to go nowhere because I'm discriminating. I'm a racist, don't you know? I'm a white supremacist racist. Like I've never heard that before. That's the final answer for a person that has no answer, no arguments. Racist. You can't have an intelligent thing to say, so you pull the race card. Kind of reminds me of the idiots in boot camp in the Navy that had stress cards. Which that was after my time, of course. That was after I went through boot camp. That's a subject for another day, too, but reminded me of that. Basically, a little yellow stress card you pull out if your division commander's yelling at you, oh, I can't take the stress. And you basically, he has to back off. No wonder our military is so pussified. No wonder they're not real men anymore. But I digress. But yeah, I'm very much hurt by this hate that everybody has for one another. We can't just come together and live in peace and harmony together. No, that's asking too much. Because we're Americans, don't you know? We're stupid. But again, of course, you got the stupid liberals who hate the Confederate flag and who hate white people. And I'll tell you right now, liberal atheist jerk-offs, you think for a minute you're not racist and you don't have white guilt? Think again. You don't know what white guilt really is. You must be guilty of something. Let me explain something to you. My family was never slave owners. They were the slaves. They came over from Germany in 1750. And they did not have any money. They didn't have a dime to their name. Couldn't speak hardly lick English. They were sold to local merchants. From Philadelphia all the way to Lancaster. They were sold to merchants. Some of them paid off their debts and moved further west. So if I act all arrogant and cocky like I own Pennsylvania, I do. My family founded it, settled it. We were the settlers of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. But, of course, a lot of people don't want to accept that. Well, there's no such thing as white slavery in America. Yeah, actually there was. We did it. They did it. So if any flag should come down because of slavery, it should be the American flag, not the Confederate flag. But I don't want people taking down the American flag either. And I got one last thing to say about this. If you liberal idiots are wiping your ass, stomping on, pissing on the flag and everything else, the American flag, and when somebody says something to you, you go, it's my free speech, then you're a fucking hypocrite because you want the Confederate flag banned and taken down. Hey, you got the General Lee Dukes of Hazzard taken off the air because you're bullshit. A show that never hurt nobody. Guess what? You're part of the problem. You're against free speech. You want your free speech, but you don't want me to have my free speech. So screw you. I'm done with my social experiment. I've seen their liberal and conservative extremists. Both parties have extremists. They're actually more so on the left and the liberals than they are on the right. The right are not as extreme. They have their fair share,